Good evening, this is News.PH, but it's not politics as usual. I'm Pia Ontiveros. When the rains began and the waters rose in Metro Manila last week, everyone's favorite target was Typhoon Mario. But we all know that Mario, or the Habagat, didn't do that to us. It was poor urban planning, a severe lack of foresight and common sense, and a state of denial or inertia or both about how to meet the challenge of climate change head on. So what we have today are government officials who struggle to weather climate change. Joining us in this first segment, Marikina Mayor Del de Guzman and Malabon Mayor Len Oreta, two of the cities that were severely affected by Mario. Good evening, Mayor Del and Mayor Len. Thank you very much for joining us. Let's talk first about Mayor Del, the Marikina River warning system. Every time the rains begin, floods rise, one of the, yung pinaka binabantayan ay yung Marikina River.
Yeah, sa amin, like for example, nung last Friday morning at 3 a.m., so, the day before, or the night before, from 10 p.m., umulan na ng malakas. So, ako, tsaka yung mga kasama namin sa Marikina, yung mga operatives namin, pag gano'n, medyo alert na talaga. So, nung ma-reach namin yung first alarm, and it's a very fast pace, sabi namin, at 5 o'clock in the morning, I ordered already, noong 3 a.m., sabi ko, baka malakas ang ulan, walang pasok, yun muna first, siyempre, deklara kami, no classes, all levels agad. Tapos, at 5 a.m., I ordered forced evacuation already. Kahit na second alarm pa lang, because of the heavy rains, at saka yung mabilis ang pagtaas, as we observed it from first alarm to second alarm, napakabilis. No? So, sabi ko, baka mawawala ng panahon para makalikas yung mga tao.
Yeah.
So, yun lang, medyo gabi, daling araw, yung mga tao, talaga, ang lakas ng ulan eh. Ayaw pa nilang kumilos dahil siguro mababasa sila dahil
dahil in denial ang lahat ng tao, di ba?
Pwede nga, parang
hindi natataas ang
nang tingin nila, tataas yan, pero mamaya pa. Dahil at the same time, feeling nga, gabi pa, maya-maya na, medyo walang araw, hirap kumilos, madilim. So, at by 6 o'clock, tumaas na yun, 6:30. So, maraming nakaalis, pero may mga naiwan pa rin.
Okay. Mas nagiging madalas yung ganyan, ano?
Well, ngayon,
no matter how strong the typhoon
matter
is.
of, in 2 weeks, tinamaan kami. Yung bagyong Luis, at pagkatapos yung kay bagyong Mario. So, yung kay Luis, hindi siya ganun kataas, pero hindi pa masyadong madami yung naapektuhan. Konting-konti lang. So they were expecting na ang bagyo outside Metro Manila ulit o Marikina ulit, baka pareho rin nung last week, nung the week before, yung Luis.
And weather forecasters say that we can expect about 10 to 12 more, no, for this year alone.
Sabi nila, yeah.
So eto na naman tayo. Nasasanay na ba kayo?
Well, masakit man sabihin, nasasanay dahil mas gusto namin na sana wala lang ganon. Yung mga tao, every time, umulan lang, iniisip na talaga yung pwedeng bumaha, pwedeng mangyari. Like, for example, naisip nila yung nakaraang Ondoy.
Ondoy.
Oo.
Okay. Mayor Len Oreta, in Malabon, you don't have a Marikina river warning system or something similar to that. What do you have?
Actually, we don't, but we have CCTVs focused sa river, and may microphone. But more than anything, when we look at the river, meron kami mga radyo. So, kung nakikita namin tumataas na yung tubig, nasasabihan namin yung mga tao. In fact, on last Friday, we canceled classes 4 o'clock at that time. And then, mga 6, yung mga lugar na kailangan naman evacuate, nag-evacuate na din kami. But it wasn't as bad as before. Kasi, I guess we were caught off guard before. Ngayon, mas handa na kami. So malaking bagay yung education sa mamamayan.
Yeah. You said CCTV and you have cameras and a microphone.
Nakakabit. Yeah, para pwede magsalita. But of course, pag andun naman, hindi lagi may tao doon.
Okay. But of course, everybody's used to, and again, like what you said earlier, Mayor Del, no? Nakakayamang sabihin, no? Parang sanay ng tao, uulan ako, lubog na naman ang Malabon.
Opo, actually, masanay sa amin kasi nga kami ay isang catch basin. That's why mahirap din eh. Mahirap maglikas ng tao kasi sasabihin, matitigas ang ulo, sasabihin nila, naranasan ko na lahat. Bakit ko pa kailangan umalis? Nadaanan ko na lahat.
Yeah, I survived everything in the past.
Nakita yung Yolanda, ngayon, natatakot na din sila because of what happened in Yolanda.
So there are more people who are willing to evacuate in Malabon?
Actually, yes, there are. In fact, we've been relocating a lot of those people who live by the riverways.
When you say relocating people who live along the waterways, wala nang taong nakatira?
Meron pa, madami
meron pa. Rin.
Kasi we have roughly, we did a census of mga 4,000 families. This year, nasa lang kami, 800.
800 families.
Yes.
What are they waiting for? Do you pay them? Meron ba silang relocation fee or something?
Nabibigyan natin konting tulong, but sa ginagastosan din natin pag na-relocate sa ibang lugar, no? Yon, but they know na kailangan nila gawin kasi mapanganib yun. Pag maiwan sila doon, may pwede mangyari sa kanila.
Can you tell us what the anti-flood infrastructure in Malabon is like?
Well, actually now we have river walls. Mga almost ang kailangan gawin, 6.7 kilometers. Nagawa pa lang kalahati, mga 3.5. So,
Bakit kulang sa?
Ginagawa pa ongoing.
Okay.
With the help of DPWH.
Kala ko kulang sa pondo, marami di ba?
May pondo naman, but
Okay.
still, sa akin tingin ko, hindi yun ang solusyon kasi tinaasan na namin yun eh. From before a year ago, mga 12 meters yun. Ngayon, nasa 14. This Mario, tung huling bagyo, nasa 12.8. So we don't know, pretty soon baka lalampasan na yung river walls na yun.
Yeah, and most likely that's what's going to happen,
yes.
di ba?
Yeah,
Because
so
of climate change.
we should find another solution.
Yeah. Those solutions don't work, in other words.
Well, for the time being.
For the time being.
Pwede, but
Yeah.
we don't know, we
Time goes by.
don't know what to expect.
Yeah, river wall won't work, Marikina River system.
Sa Marikina, ang proposal nila and ang sabi nila, they will start constructing next year. Yung based on their flood study or flood plan, construction of a retaining dam in somewhere upper Marikina River, which is in Montalban na yon or sa
Yung
Mateo
Wawa
area.
Dam, yung...
So, merong isang study na i-extend nila yung Wawa Dam, pero yung isa, dito sa bandang I think it's sa kabila ng Wawa River, doon nila ilalagay na they will first catch all the water flowing down to Marikina River.
Yeah.
I-retain muna nila doon for several time hanggang sa humina na yung ulan at pagkatapos tsaka nila i-release yung tubig pagka mababa na yung water sa Marikina River.
Okay.
So,
Pero hindi pa
We're doing that.
nag-uumpisa ang construction nun, right?
sabi nila, mag-start first quarter of next year and it will take 1.5 to 2 years para bago matapos.
As the mayor of Marikina, do you honestly think that is going to save Marikina?
Well, one way or the other, I think makatulong yun. No? Kung yung binivisualize nila sa amin na kayang gawin ng dam na yun, makakatulong. At the same time, meron pang isa, kung talaga hindi kaya yung dike talaga. So, kung ang baha ay as high as sa amin, 20 meters on nakaraan, almost, dahil 19.9. So, pero yung Ondoy, 25 meters yun.
So ang dike dapat?
Ganun kataas. Dapat.
25 din, 26 or...
Baka 26 dahil nga baka... Pero kung with that retaining dam, baka mas mababa na lang dahil hindi na agad baka kababa yung water.
Yeah. How many families and how many people, actual number of people do you have living along the Marikina River that you have to evacuate every time?
About 27,000 people.
27,000 people.
Yeah, to 30,000. Yung iba kasi naiiwan pa doon pero Average 28,000. Safe.
Hindi ba kayo napapagod, both of you? And I'm sure, well, this is a question I wanted to ask all the mayors, no? Sa mga cities na nagiging water world. Hindi ba kayo napapagod sa evacuation, distribution of relief goods? Yung walang katapusan, ganun na lang ng ganun.
Napapagod po.
Siyempre, nakakapagod.
Definitely.
Nakakapagod din.
Actually, we dread the August and September months. Kasi hindi ka na nakakatulog. You're always monitoring.
Yung mga tao mismo na nasa area na binabaha na pag umulan na, hindi sila makatulog. Kami ganun din. Pag umulan na, so di na rin kami matulog. Minsan, I join them na magbantay doon. Kung tataas, andun na ako para masabihan yung mga tao. Na
Yeah. A while ago, we were talking about yung mga anti-flood infrastructure that are being built, as what you said, yung river walls sa Malabon, what will still be built and which you hope will be helping Marikina, the retaining dam in Montalban, and maybe a dike along the Marikina River. But do you really do you really wish for, a foolproof solution? Yung totoo na.
Yes,
Yung hindi yung you build it and then nakukulang, masyado
course.
mababa.
Siyempre, actually, kaya tumagal yung construction, they prepared the flood plan. So, parang they gather all the data, the history, so they compute all, ano ba yung pinakamalaking baha na inabot. So, para yung construction ng infrastructure, hindi rin sayang, hindi nga masayang. So, na mag-work, if ever kung ganong kalaki previously or mas malaki pa yung dumating, I think they do some adjustment.
Nakakatulong ba kahit, so Metro Manila, we have 16 cities and 1 municipality, but no governor or no mayor above this conglomeration of kingdoms, each of a kingdom, para kayong mga raha or mga sultan, ano? Nakakatulong ba yung ganoong setup sana? Or, is there a question about governance here? Is there something better that we can do?
Well, actually, we meet up with MMDA Council.
Yeah,
So,
you have a Metro Manila
Opo.
Council, yeah.
Opo.
Okay.
So we get to talk among the mayors.
Yeah.
So,
But is it really helpful?
Well, at least
nakatulong
brought
din.
out yung mga problema.
Yung issue na be-ventilate doon, kakatulungan.
Yeah.
Basically, yung coordination importante. Basically, it was MMDA.
Okay.
Yung function niya, di ba? So, yung problema ng isa, diba, kapitbahay na yung Pasig. Pag bumaha sa amin, baha rin sa Pasig.
Exactly.
So, dapat coordinated yung, kung traffic sa Marikina,
Traffic
minsan,
sa-
traffic sa Pasig, traffic sa
Oo.
Quezon City. Dahil yun mga katabi namin. So, we really need somebody
Well,
to coordinate all
yeah,
those
floods and
things.
traffic know no borders. So we'll go to a break. News.PH will be right back. We have this serious lack of common sense when it comes to urban planning.
When it comes to urban planning, common sense is not non-existent. It's not common here. But seriously, it's a problem of the lack of context, which is reflective of our governance structure also. Like Metro Manila is 16 cities in one town. And the interventions or mitigations are all focused in the individual LGUs. Same with planning. But in reality, when you plan, you have to plan in a much larger context, because the flood waters will not stop at the border of Marikina and Quezon City, or Quezon City and San Juan, or Pasig and Taguig. It will not stop there. There's no fixed set of rules. There's no coordinated set of rules. Over and above, not over, but to the side is the MMDA, which is essentially just traffic and garbage. So they threw the baby out with the bathwater in '86, when in reality, during the martial law years, they had moved in the correct direction for metro governance, which is governing Metro Manila as 16 towns and cities as one agglomeration of an urban area. We are the last city in Southeast Asia that's not governed as a metropolis. We're governed by 17 kingdoms with 17 kings and queens who don't talk to each other, at least not all of them. Some are progressive. The younger ones, they know the problems.
Welcome back to News.PH, weathering climate change. That's what we talk about tonight. Our guests, Mayor Del de Guzman of Marikina and Mayor Len Oreta of Malabon. And joining us by telephone from, not quite yet in Cebu, architect and urban planner Paulo Alcazaren. Good evening, Architect Alcazaren.
Good evening.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get first a reaction from the two mayors to, earlier we showed a clip of an interview that we did with you some 2 years ago. Mayor Del de
God.
Guzman, a reaction to that statement by Architect Alcazaren.
Well, for me, tama yun. Dapat well-coordinated. Kaya yung mga plano na ginawa, kami, naghintay kami. When in 2010, sinabi ng DPWH na we'll do a flood plan study with Metro Manila Development Authority. So naghintay kami dahil hindi namin pwedeng pangunahan eh. Dahil kung sa amin lang, we have also kailangan malaman lang yung katabing bayan namin. Kaya DPWH, dahil hindi naman sakop ng Metro Manila yung Rizal. So, kaya pinabayaan namin sila. And finally, ngayon nila natapos yung flood plan. I'm sure yung coordination mas maayos.
But would you be amenable, would you agree to a governing, not just a Metro Manila Council such as what you have now, no, but parang a governing body of sorts, like a governor for Metro Manila or something like that?
Well, sana enough na yung metropolitanization ng Metro Manila or itong existing ngayon. Dahil nga, yung Rizal, no? Kailan isama mo rin yun eh. So, ganun din eh. Kaya DPWH is part of the council naman actually. Not only mayors yung mga nandun eh. So, we have some government agencies, members of that council.
Yeah.
Siguro, pwede siguro lagyan ng more, sabihin natin, to impose more regulation, authority, yung more, a little more power para yung talagang hindi masyadong parang co-opted pa siya sa at present eh. May mga other instances, for example, we cannot pass ordinance. So, to be implemented for the whole Metro Manila, you need to ask approval from each and every city council members of the Metro Manila Development Authority or Metro Manila Council.
Okay, Mayor Len Oreta,
Yes.
your reaction?
Actually, better coordination, we wouldn't mind that at all. So if, like for my case, Malabon is connected with the Votas and we share a navigational gate. And most of the time, this navigational gate, it doesn't work. And if it works, the Navotas, they need to open it to let their boats out. And we're not a fishing industry. So when they let the boats out, water comes in sa amin. So better coordination would be appreciated.
All right. Let's talk now to Architect Paulo Alcazaren. Architect Alcazaren, are you there?
Yes.
What did Mario, again, for the umpteenth time, teach us about governing 16 cities and 1 municipality in Metro Manila?
Well, it just shows us again the scale of the typhoons and the disasters that strike Metro Manila and the National Capital Region. It's really something that needs to be addressed metro-wide or region-wide. So therefore, ideally, we should address it from that scale and scope also.
I remember Architect Alcazaren, every time I interview you always say, we keep repeating what we say in past interviews.
Yes, it's every year.
Every year.
Media comes to people like me who study cities, and it's the same thing over and over again. And the answers don't change. We must change the paradigm of governance before we can ever hope to change any physical correctives to the situation.
Architect, I'm told that you wanted to ask a question of the two mayors here with me.
Well, this is really their point of view as to the possibility of integrating the 16 cities and one town of Metro Manila and going back, not really going back, but relooking in the idea of the metro governance. In the light of the anniversary of martial law, in hindsight, not everything that was introduced during that regime was all bad. It's just that when the people power revolution came over, the tendency was to throw the baby out with the bathwater, and one of those babies was metro governance.
Okay, so you want an answer from them now.
Yeah, well, what they think, because I've personally talked to some mayors and some congressmen and asked them if there was any chance of politically reintegrating Metro Manila, and of course the answer overall was no. Political agendas get too much in the way, and that seems to be what the problem is. And it's really not the idea of not having political will, but in fact having 17 political wills in Metro Manila. That's why nothing ever gets done.
Okay, so a while ago we asked you for reactions, and basically what both of you were saying was that more coordination, yes, that's welcome, no? But what we're talking about here, what Paolo Alcazar is talking about, is political reintegration. So can you address that issue, Mayor Len?
Well, actually, for me, I think it would help out. It all depends, because if this, let's say, the governor, so he's elected by the people, right? So definitely, as long as which I don't know if it happens, he has to have should not have an agenda, but to help out and coordinate the whole Metro Manila, which is hard to do.
Okay, so you're saying papayag ka, pero dapat walang agenda ang magiging governor.
Kailangan, kasi pag
Meron bang politiko walang agenda?
Oo nga, di ba? Kailangan ginagawa niya yung kailangan mangyari. May accountability at ito nagagawa. But kasi parang diadagdagan mo pa pag may pinasok ka pa isa pang bagong tao.
Okay, Mayor Del?
Well, ayun nga, no, tingin ko, kung babalik ka doon sa dating sistema, so isipin mo, balik na lang kami sa Rizal because...
Marikina, balik na lang sa Rizal?
Buong Metro Manila. Dahil
okay.
we are formed part of Rizal
We used to be
before.
Rizal province.
Isa lang ata nakahiwalay sa amin, it's Valenzuela, which is part of Bulacan before. So, at the same time, city na lahat eh. Kaya, ang hirap na i-integrate from among each other as a one whole governing bodies. I think yung coordination, yung metropolitanization system, yun na lang ang patibayan. So, to create another new local governments out of Metro Manila, so, mabigat pa dahil another level of bureaucracy. So, kailangan din ng pera, pondo dyan, di ba? Kaya, yun nga, at least kami, may isang chairman, diretso na kami. We can always talk together kung ano yung problema. And diretso kami sa presidente. Ganun din naman yung mga gobernador eh. So, inalagaan niya yung mga munisipyo niya or cities. Tapos, diretso rin siya sa presidente.
Okay. Architect Alcazaran, are you satisfied with our answers?
Well, I have to throw in one clarification to the idea of reintegration. In fact, it's a redefinition of boundaries, 16 cities and one town. In the 70s, there was a study made by the MMDA, Metro Manila Authority, the precursor of the MMDA, to actually redefine the physical boundaries of the towns and cities within Metro Manila from the 16 plus 1 to about only 6 areas or 6 consolidated entities, which would make it much easier in terms of governance because the boundaries are then dependent on major defining elements like the highways, watersheds, and also evening out the total areas between all of the LGUs or all of the components. As it is now, you have Quezon City very large, you have Taguig and Pateros very small, so there is not an even distribution of land areas and populations, which makes it very inefficient for governance and development initiatives. So
All
it's
right.
really much more than just reintegration. It's redefined
Okay.
of boundaries, even within what could be a metro governance unit.
Okay, yeah. Thank you very much, Architect Alcazar. We should have a part two episode on this. That's
Okay.
one whole episode already. Then we'll invite you, Paolo, and then we'll have Mayor Del and Mayor Len back here. Thank you so much for joining us,
Thank you
Architect
very
Paolo
much.
Alcazaran. We'll go to a break. We'll be right back. Weathering climate change, local government units in this one big Metro Manila can't do it on their own. There is no way they can, on their own, address climate change and its effects. No city is an island, after all, here in Metro Manila, especially when it turns into one big water world. Have you noticed floods cross borders? They don't stop at the borders between cities. Mayors De Guzman and Oreta are still with us. And joining us now is MMDA Chairman Francis Tolentino. Good evening, Chairman Tolentino.
Good evening, ma'am.
How frustrating is it when you can't do anything? When the floods cross borders and the water rises rapidly and you're trying to rescue people, and what is it like as MMDA chairman?
Ngayon, may marked improvement because of the increased awareness and capability of LGUs. Handang-handa sila. Like for instance, itong recent Luis, Mario, even before we arrived sa scene, nandun na yung LGU, prepared na, they're doing their task. So, easier for us now.
Okay,
Well
easier.
equipped,
Yeah,
well
easier.
equipped.
But then, kanina we were discussing na yung paulit-ulit na to, yung people are nasasanay na rin, parang ganon. Kaya lang, don't we all wish for that time na we don't have to deal with rising flood waters always? That there will be one foolproof solution, one solution that will finally fix things for us.
But several factors are beyond our control. Rising sea levels, climate change. So it's there are things that we cannot really prevent. So role of LGUs, government agencies would really be to mitigate, ensure that communities have adapted, make communities resilient. But how can you prevent effects of global warming? So these are imponderable siguro for LGUs. So yung pinag-uusapan kanina, yung results of better coordination would probably pave way for a more resilient NCR.
Okay. Well, what do you think of all that talk about putting Metro Manila under one governing body? So in other words, hindi lang yung Metro Manila Council.
It might work, it might not work. So even if you have a body, a super body, a supra body, andun pa rin yung climate change. Di ba? So as we speak, katatapos lang ata yung UN Climate Change Conference sa New York. So these are things that would probably cross borders also country-wise. So what I'm saying is LGUs, regional governments are subject to forces beyond bureaucratic, legal, administrative controls.
Okay. Well, all the anti-flood measures, infrastructure that are going to be put in place are going to are about to be built or are being built. Will that be enough for us? Will that be enough for Metro Manila?
It will more or less soften the impact, mitigate. Remember, ito yung sinasabi ko, from the Netherlands to the Scandinavian region, Japan, Hong Kong, ang tawag doon, flood control. Wala naman tinawag na, ang tawag flood control office, wala naman tinawag na flood prevention office. So, ang purpose really is to control, to mitigate. The levees were invented by the Dutch to mitigate, not really control, to prevent. So, kahit anong gawin natin ngayon, malilesen. The dam, mentioned a while ago by the good mayor of Marikina, ongoing 77 flood control projects of DPWH would lessen the effect. End goal is to save the population. and properties.
Okay. A few days ago, you started talking about incineration as a way by which we can address the issue of garbage, because that contributes very greatly to the flooding.
Yes, I espouse that idea. Kasi, remember, before a rainy season comes, the job of most LGUs, including MMDA, is to ensure that our drainage systems are working, esteros are cleaned up. So, ang lumalabas ngayon, we equate garbage with floods. After a flood, ano yung gagawin? We clean up. We clean up Manila Bay, we clean up Tatalon, we clean up, siguro yung ganun din ang ginawa ni Maryland. I'm sure that's what they did in Marikina. So, I link this with the garbage problem. 71% of our garbage goes to our landfill sites. 12% recycled. The balance, saan pumunta yun? Esteros, drainage system, causing flood. So, ang sabi ko, why don't we incinerate? Recent example, yung UN conference ngayon sa New York, Sweden was acknowledged to be a top compliant country in terms of observing UN protocols on climate change. Sweden, they don't have garbage, higher quality of life, waste to energy systems because of incineration. Since the 60s, they have banned landfills. That's what they're doing right now in Japan. In Japan, they have even an incinerator inside downtown Japan. They have 5 incinerator plants in Singapore. A 6th one is forthcoming. Ang sabi nila, linis ng Singapore. Because of incineration. Eh ba tayo hindi natin matanggap yon? Remove the garbage through incineration, you lessen flooding. I assure you that. You increase the energy capacity of NCR. Kung magkakaroon tayo ng power shortage, meron namang waste to energy process to capture the steam and convert it into energy. Ba't di natin gawin yun? So it's about time that we amend the Clean Air Act and go for incineration. Rather than,
Are there no violent protests, violent objections?
wala pa ako naririnig.
Wala pang narinig. Wala kayong
So even,
Parang salita.
even if we go for plastic ban, for instance, Muntinlupa, plastic ban, eh meron naman dumadaan na galing ibang LGUs, may dalang plastic. Meron galing probinsya, may dalang plastic. Hindi naman ban yun eh. Ang ban lang yung packaging materials ng mga tindahan doon within Muntinlupa.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. Let's ask the two mayors here very quickly about incineration. What do you think of that, Mayor Del?
Well, sa akin, no, it's one of the, siguro a way to reduce our garbage na malaki, mababawas. Not like, kasi yung mga garbage, as possible, nire-reduce na natin eh. Sa mga, sa amin nga, from the source, really, we need to recycle and reduce your garbage. Pero pag sinabi natin incineration, talagang totally, alam naman natin, pag isang bagay, sinunog mo, halos wala na yun. So, malaking kabawasan to sa garbage problem na
Where does Marikina's garbage go? Some you're able to segregate and recycle, but
recycle.
the others?
May mga residuals din na diretso pa rin sa dump site or sa landfill.
Okay. I suppose it's still a big problem. I mean,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
all cities, no?
Yes.
In Metro Manila, napakalaking problema. Mayor Len?
Well, we are a catch basin. So if it floods, all the garbage from Quezon City, kung saan man, it goes to us. So definitely I'm in favor of incineration. Why? Because then you totally eradicate the garbage. So even if we keep Malabon clean, hindi sapat yun eh. Because pag yung tubig, dala lahat ng basura, pupunta din sa amin. That's why pagtapos ng bagyo, ang dami namin nililinis talaga. Never ending. And we spend so much cleaning. So that's all our budget goes there, pag sa paglilinis. Ang hirap maglinis.
Okay. Chairman Francis, there is a question for you from Lim Albert, Quezon City, on Twitter. No? Why not abolish MMDA chair post and institute a collegial body composed of Metro Manila mayors and rotating chair?
No problem with me. As long as it will improve governance, foster cooperation, and provide for better delivery of metro-wide services.
Mayor Del, Mayor Len, a reaction from you?
Sa akin, yun nga, kung mag-work yun, pero sinabi niya rotational. 17 kami. We have only about 17, we have only 3 years sa service. So, baka mahirap lalo yun.
Okay. Chairman Tolentino, anything else that you want to add now?
Okay na po siguro yan.
Okay,
I'm proud of the performance of the two good mayors here. Talagang nakatutok sila eh. So, yun yung nakita nating nag-i-improve eh. Nag-i-improve.
LGU response.
Yes. And what we did last, Mario, is that we're now trying to equate Oplan Metro Yacal with typhoon response.
Okay,
So,
Yacal is
isa
the
na lang
plan
sa
for earthquake
So parang isa na lang.
response.
So we divided Metro Manila into 4 quadrants. Metro Manila North, Metro Manila South, Metro Manila East, Metro Manila West. So yung response, ganun, sasama yung AFP, PNP, and then most probably next, wag na magyari, may future typhoon, Coast Guard. So unti-unti siguro na si-shift na natin yung preparedness for a big one na wag naman sana mangyari.
But Yacal, that's a very good plan.
Yeah.
We did that
Thank you.
story before. Okay, final words before we let you go. Mayor Len Oreta of Malabon.
Well, I would like to thank all those who's been helping us in City Hall, lahat na yung mga ating kapulisan, ating disaster rescue, lahat ng tumutulong kasi pag wala kayo, wala tayong magagawa. So, malaki ako nagpapasalamat ako sa inyong lahat. At sa mamamayan ng Malabon kasi alam mo, PH, it's a mindset eh. Dati kasi, ang mga magulang, pinapabayaan nila yung mga anak nila maglaro sa ulan at may nalulunod. So ngayon, mas aware sila. Yung mga lalaki, nagiinuman pag may bagyo. So ngayon, at least, iniiwasan nila.
Okay.
Nagiinuman pa rin. Ba't nalalasing, naglalaro, may malunod pa. So at least ngayon, nababawasan yun. It's really a mind-setting thing.
Okay,
So, maraming
thank you.
salamat.
Thank you, Mayor Len. Mayor Del de Guzman.
Well, sa amin, papasalamat din ako sa, siyempre, una-una, tauhan din ng gobyerno ng Marikina, sila mga unang-unang kumilos, mga ahensya ng PAMAC, the Metro Manila Development Authority, na siya yung isa sa una kong tinawagan na talagang tumulong kaagad. Andiyan AFP, PNP, DSWD, or even DILG. Mga private sectors, hanggang ngayon tumatawag pa rin na nag-offer pa rin ng tulong. At yun din, mamaya ng Marikina na pag tinawagan mo na very cooperative na rin sila sa ngayon.
Thank you, Mayor Del de Guzman of Marikina. Chairman Francis Tolentino, MMDA.
Yung lessons learned dito, yung preparedness, ability to quickly recover would really be dependent on the LGUs. So we we reiterate our thanks to the good mayors here. Sila talaga yung sila talaga yung susi eh. So better LGUs, better prepared LGUs would be a better prepared Metro Manila.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us, Mayors Len, Mayor Del, and Chairman Francis Tolentino, MMDA. Maraming salamat. News.PH will be right back. Stay with us. We apologize for the technical difficulty. Let's do this again. The typhoons are getting stronger, the seas are getting warmer, and we know this firsthand over and over again. Ondoy, Yolanda, Mario, etc. But does the experience make a dent? Doesn't look like it. So whether we like it or not, let's do a review of climate change. Repetition, after all, is the best teacher. Physical oceanographer Laura David joins us. Good evening, Laura. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Okay, let's talk about climate change. No, what is it? Remind us as if we were first graders.
Climate change, pagbabago ng klima. So, dahan-dahan yung mga dating naranasan na natin, naiiba na siya ngayon. Kung dati ang alam natin, ang tag-init, dapat hanggang ganitong mga buwan lang, minsan sumusobra na dun sa bilang ng buwan na yon. Ang tag-ulan naman, alam natin, mga ilang milimetro lang yung uulanin, and yet, ngayon, dilubyo na. No? So those are your signals of climate change.
And of course, when we go, for example, swimming at the beach, no? Alam natin dahil bakit parang mas mainit ang tubig ngayon?
That's true. There are episodes of heat na nangyayari na beyond what we know is normal.
Okay, and then our experience of flooding, mas madalas, mas mataas ang tubig ngayon.
Mas madalas, mas taas ang tubig, at mas matagal bago siya mawala ulit.
Okay. So you have all that happening. What effect does this have on us, on the way we live?
We're hit in the Philippines in two ways. One is coastal integrity. A lot of our barangays are actually coastal barangays. They live within 60 kilometers of the coast. So that we're talking about 900 plus barangays. On the other hand, you also have food security. So almost 20 to 80% of our food comes from the ocean. So both are actually vulnerable to climate change.
Yeah. So 20 to 80% of our food comes from the ocean, and the connection there is that if the water is too hot,
if the
saan
water is
napupunta yung
too
isda?
hot, if the water is too hot, sabi ng mga mangingisda, nakikita na nila, lumalayo actually yung mga isda or lumalalim. So mas mahirap na nilang mahuli. Mas mahirap mahuli, you're actually using up more crudo. And if you do that, then yung expense of actually catching fish goes up. So therefore, yung common mamamayan will have to pay more for the same type of fish. Diba? At the same time, hindi lang yung temperature. That your temperature can also damage your coral reefs. Yun yung bahay ng mga isda. So pag nasira na yun, cascade effect, no? Domino effect. Eventually, yung isda mismo mawawala na rin.
Okay. So halimbawa, nagsisnorkeling tayo. Alam natin na ang coral reef maganda, di ba? Green, a lot of fish, and then you can tell it's alive. No?
Yes.
So how do we know na patay ang coral reef?
Pag colorful siya,
Patay.
patay. No? Kasi dapat nga green siya. Kasi buhay siya, may algae siyang kasama, green yon. Pero pag nakikita ka na ng pink, ng yellow, ng blue, skeleton nila yung nakikita mo. So, ibig sabihin,
Okay.
patay na sila.
Okay. But there have been efforts in different parts, no, of the country para mabuhay ulit itong mga coral reefs. No?
That's true. It's similar to an illness. If it's flu season, there's a tendency for you to get a flu. But if you get vaccine shots beforehand or you drink your vitamins, the likelihood of you getting sick is less. So ganun din sa coastal area. Pag pinangangalagaan ng local government yung kanilang resources, tumama man yung pag-init, may potential na ma-withstand ng coral reefs yung pag-init na yon.
Okay. We also said that the typhoons are getting stronger, no? They get stronger because of climate change, because of the heat
That's
generated,
correct.
no?
Kasi the typhoons only get their energy from water. So the moment you have 28 degrees of water or higher, that's when your typhoon starts getting generated. So the bigger your water mass, katulad ng Pacific, ang uminit, the bigger the typhoons get. And recent studies show that it's not just the surface water, pati yung tubig sa ilalim.
Sa ilalim, oo.
Matters a lot. Kaya lumaki yung Yolanda, for example. Kasi as the typhoon gets nearer, dapat mag-hit yun ng cooler waters right near the coast. So madi-dissipate yung heat. Eh hindi. Dahil yung tubig niya, all the way sa mid-layer depth na tinatawag, sa ilalim ng tubig, mainit na
Mainit
rin.
din.
So lalo siyang lumaki as it got closer.
Okay. So we have the climate summit going on in New York, and all the world leaders are there. You know,
That's right.
all the best minds in the world are there. What's next for us?
There's actually a local climate summit tomorrow happening in Traders Hotel. It's the 3rd anniversary for it, and we're getting more and more interest from the local state universities, local private organizations. I think it's about time that the Philippines, we should listen to what is happening in the global environment. But the Philippines needs to take a look at solutions that are local, because this is a more complicated environment than the rest of the world.
Solutions like what?
Solutions, for example, like, you can start taking care of the environment, because that will help them actually survive climate change. At the same time, yung kanina pinapakinggan kita, kausap mo yung mga mayor, awang-awa na ako sa kanila, no? For always evacuating the barangay.
Right, hindi na sila napagod.
Napapagod na ako
Paulit-ulit
for
na lang,
them.
oo.
We might have to bite the bullet and actually relocate completely. Not just households near the waterways, but entire towns or entire barangays.
Yeah, move them away from the water, similar to what should be done in Tacloban. no?
That's correct.
Okay.
Diba? So, it might come to that because it's a new normal. No? Nung nagawa itong lahat ng urban planning na ito on a local scale, iba pa naman yung environment nun. So ngayon that the environment has changed, we have to start adapting to it. And the adaptation might not always be, it's like a medicine. It might taste bad,
Yeah, it's the bitter pill
but it's necessary.
that we need to do, or else we have to deal with all these deaths. Okay, my final question before we go is, in our homes, no, what specific steps can we take? Because we can't just go on the community level. Dapat yung sa sarili nating mga bahay.
That's correct. May kapitbahay ako na nagsisiga pa din. I think it's about time that we own up to our own responsibility sa climate change. Every single drop counts. I was, again, listening to your conversation on incineration. Iba-iba kasi yan eh. Depende sa temperatura ng pagsunog, iba yung consequence niya. Yung siga, mababang temperature yon. So that has major consequences. Ang dami niyang heavy metals, ang dami niyang carbon dioxide. If you really go the correct way in incineration, yung mainit na mainit, na ang kanyang byproduct is just water, saka carbon dioxide, meron pa rin lalabas yan. Maybe less yung impact nun. So, pero yung mga common person, just because merong push for incineration doesn't mean pwede na kayo magsiga ulit.
Okay, we're talking about the big incineration.
Yes.
As MMDA Chairman Francis
That's
Tolentino
correct.
was talking about. And tapos sabi pa niya, we can generate energy,
That's true.
etc.
It's possible if
All right.
done correctly.
If done correctly. Okay, thank you very much, Laura David. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for inviting
And
me.
thank you for watching News.PH. I'm Pia Ontivero. See you again next Wednesday. Good night.